Hey folks, Quilly here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. We are heading to Minmus, and we are good. Next thing we have to do is just simply get within the sphere of influence. So we're going to do that. We're going to make another tweak to our maneuver, our direction once we get in there, just so that we're slightly more equatorial. It should make the landing a wee bit easier. It's not critical, but it also shouldn't take much in the way of delta V. I'm not even going to plan a maneuver for it. And we can kill that. And I'm just going to time warp speed 50 to go across the thing. And we are in Minmus' sphere of influence. I'm just waiting a little bit longer. Sometimes it bounces you in and out for a second as it calculates it. But we're still going speed 50 and it's still locked in. So that's pretty good. Okay. First, we can science a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do that. Solar particles, atmospheric pressure. I'm astounded you can do so much atmospheric pressure. I didn't think you could, but I guess, I don't know. That's fine. All right, we've stabilized here. We're going to go ahead and get TF2 brum 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 to EVA. We'll once again collect the data. Having to collect data in between here does make it a little bit more difficult to quickly zoom over a bunch of biomes and collect things in bulk without missing some opportunity. But, of course, what we're going for here is the landing. I keep forgetting that. I just did the flyby mission, so I still have the idea of flying by things in my head. Take pressure data. And the telescope? No, telescope's got nothing. There's no like crew report waiting here, is there? Let's take all the data out of that one and just leave it all in the front capsule. And again, here, grab, just in case. We're going to take everything and then store everything and then scooch backwards before it launches us into space and get back in there. Okay, good. So, what I'm going to do here, it's a little easier to land if you're rotating with the planet, which is why normally you want equatorial. This isn't bad, though. Hey, ideally, we want to land in one of these big, giant seas. There's another one on the back. We actually might be able to get into orbit where we cross a few. I mean, already it's not too bad. If I go and burn anti-normal a bit and just drop it a scooch, we might do something like target the middle of this guy. Ideally, wherever we land, we'll want to land in the sunny spots, but we can't really plan that right now because by the time we get there, of course, everything will have rotated. But we'll do a little bit of that, makes it slightly more equatorial. This is another good, like, sort of landing strip because you've got a long length that you can go for. Actually, that might be the best. Plus, it's very equatorial. We're using very, very little delta V to do this. Very minuscule amount. You can see how slowly it drops over here. There's like maybe 10 delta V. Maybe, and look how drastically we change it. It's because we're so far out. The further out you are, the easier it is to make a change. The only flip side of that is if you're trying to change the apoapsis, then you want to be as close in, and you want your apoapsis to be as far out. And then, yeah, the further out the apo is, the quicker it changes. But there we go. That's looking pretty good there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plan a maneuver at the periapsis. That's one of the other things I miss about the maneuver planner. There's a little shortcut to like lock the maneuver to a spot. We are going to burn retrograde and enter orbit around here. And look at this. We still have 575 delta V in the stage that was designated for entirely these orbital operations. The last 718 is the stage that's supposed to land, take off from Minmus, escape Minmus, which should be relatively light, and maybe do a little bit more maneuvering so that we come back to Kerbal with a realistic sort of path here. Don't need to completely circularize, although the lower it is, effectively the slower we'll be orbiting, which makes it easier and gentler to land. So there we go. These two things start flipping over. That means we've got a pretty circular thing going on, which is pretty good. We'll quick save again because we're expecting to do a time warp. We will, of course, be locking into the node direction. I guess we can do that now before we time warp, but it's not really going to matter because we're doing a bunch of science experiments, and actually we'll be doing some EVAs and stuff too, so at that point we'll probably want to kill a bunch of rotation. So for safety's sake, I'll turn this off. I'll turn on regular stability assist for now. We'll set our vertical to be better for EVAs, and we'll go ahead and, actually I'll do this. I will set a time warp to the maneuver, but our time warps will stop before that happens, because experiments will happen. In fact, I'm intentionally going to go and slow us down to only times 100, because then it should be able to stop a lot more reliably for the experiments. as we get into a lower atmosphere here. There's actually going to be a limited number of experiments available, actually, now that I think about it, because we've done a lot of flybys with these experiments. There might be, see, soil moisture and the solar particles. Delete that alarm. Solar particles, keep this, and atmospheric. We could transmit it, no, we're going to keep the data, we're going to keep that data. I'm not going to do an EVA right now, because we need to do a maneuver in 2 minutes, 45 seconds is the node, and it's predicting a 2-minute burn, but that's only because I have the derated engine here. So presumably this is going to be a 1-minute burn, which isn't right at all, because right now we've got 1 minute of burn time for 575 delta V. Oh, it's 182. I thought it was 102. Yeah, 30 seconds, maybe about 20 seconds is probably more reasonable expectation. So we'll start the burn with, let's split the difference. Say when there's 15 minutes left to the node, 15 seconds, I should say, left to the node. And basically we're just burning retrograde here. I mean, we've got it locked to a node, but I could just lock it to retrograde and it's going to be almost entirely the same thing. Can't see the numbers when it's over. Minmus. Minmus is too green. Made out of mint ice cream, by the way. And cut the time warp. Everything's stable, good. So again, when it's T-minus 15 seconds, I will start this retrograde burn. There we go. We're flying over the surface. It's not very exciting to look at. It's got some craters, but not right here. That's probably more highlandy or something. And 15 seconds, so let's go for burn. You can see the time has fixed itself there. And there we go, and we're just dropping our apoapsis. Right now it's negative. The apoapsis is broken because we're on an escape velocity. And it's going to go negative, 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 then all of a sudden become positive again, which means we are now in orbit around Minmus, although a very lopsidey kind of one. And what we want to do is not bring things down too low. See, we've skipped the periapsis because I started my burn not quite at the right time. And now, because we're not exactly at our peri anymore, and our peri may have moved because of our burn as well, I'm dropping my peri. Yeah, you can see it's over here. I don't want to drop my peri any more than this because you can see there's some, that's a bad angle there, but there's some elevation. We're going to come very close to this terrain as is. So we might be tempted back at the periapsis to burn there properly again to drop the apoaps, but that's it. We have to make sure the peri doesn't drop any more than that. We could raise it a bit at the apoapsis, but that seems backwards because we're going to need to slow down a whole bunch relatively soon. So let's go ahead and do an EVA and collect the data that we've got. Oh, we are, hang on. Oh! This is the direction. I was expecting it to be parallel. I guess it's northern. That's what's going on here. That's what's screwing up my point of view with the camera, is I'm expecting the up vector to be away from the ground, but that's not it at all. That's why I was getting confused. All right. Try not to hit the giant spinny blades of death. Do try. Take data from the solar collector. Take data from the soil collector. See, there we go. We're taking data, not collecting. I was thinking of the terminology wrong before. I think we've got pressure data. And, nope, no orbital telescope stuff. Okay. Grab on. And board. And we might get some more as we fly over some various biomes, which would not be bad. Although at some point we're going to want to pick a landing spot. So, ideally you want to land in the sun, because A, solar panels work. Although, with 100 energy, we're not doing too bad. Hey! Entered orbit of Minmus. Performance spacewalk in orbit of Minmus. Some extra money, a little bit of extra science, and certainly some fame. Right, those stages being destroyed is fine. I think ideally we'd like to land here. Also, Minmus rotates, just like Earth and Kerbal and all those, towards the east. So if you look towards the east, that's the sun there. So this part here, the sun has just basically risen here. So by the time we come around here, it'll still be daytime. That's really where we want to end up. So what we would like to do, this is already pretty damn low. I think we can do the so the most efficient thing to do, obviously, if we want to drop this area, which we do, we want to sort of drop this area into the ground. So the most efficient way to do that is at the opposite side of the orbit. So we can drop this lower from there. The problem is if you get too low, then all you're doing is you're coming onto the surface sideways. And you got to kill all that horizontal velocity. But it is very efficient if you can manage it. The less efficient way, but safer way, Because what can happen is if you don't kill your velocity quickly enough, you just smack into the ground while going full speed, right? The safer way is to wait until you're around here, just kill all horizontal speed, and then just basically drop like a rock vertically. It takes a lot more delta V to pull that off. But Minmus is pretty forgiving. And so if we started, say, somewhere over here, and again, we've got, so this 392 meters per second, its entire purpose is basically to kill all of our horizontal speed, and then we ditch the stage completely. So if I just go and do this, I mean, look at this. This is only going to take 90 meters per second. So I think it's probably fine that we sort of aggressively just burn sideways as much as possible at this stage over whatever spot of land we want to land on. So something like this, maybe a little further over this way. I mean, that's fine. How long of a burn is that? 15 seconds. So obviously we've got the power for it. So really, I think I'm just going to burn all my fuel to kill all horizontal motion with this stage and then just jettison it because there's no problem. So this maneuver, we're not really going to plan it. It's mostly we're using this, maybe even I'll do this, to like remind us of, hey, you are now very much over a flat piece of ground, which is where you're looking to land on this first mission. And we're not, I don't think we're going to do any biome hopping. We might have enough Delta V for it, but let's save that for when we have slightly better ship parts and a little bit more variety of things going on. And we're not quite so tall. It'll be nicer when we're sort of the 2.5 meter build because we'll be wider and squatter. Here we're very tall, tipping over, very real risk. Okay, so let's go ahead and warp to the maneuver. We'll probably get de-warped by experiments along the way. Oh, there we go. Telescope, yes, we will keep that. I'd love to transmit it, but we don't have the energy. And we'll grab an EVA report. Excellent. And so what I have to do is collect the telescope, which is over on this side. Take that up. Am I the pilot this time? Oh, I am. Yes, I am. Tell you what, for consistency's sake, whoop, 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 I will go. Don't lag like that. And, no, come down. No. Store experiments. There we go. So we'll store everything in the top capsule. And then board. Oops. Scooch down, then board. Okay, good. It's time warp again. We still have the alarm for the maneuver. I'm not facing the node or anything. I mean, I could pre-face the node, I suppose. But I'm not having any SAS other than maybe stability assist. Okay, telescope. Keep. EVA report. EVA report again. Whoa! Hello. I can't turn on my RCS. Is that my ship falling? There we go. I mean, I don't think it's falling. It's just looking like that. There was some sort of physics thing that happened that sent me flying. Also, am I using the pilot for this? I shouldn't be. You. Kill rot. I gotta keep clicking on the right thing. I want to use the engineer for this. That was scary. I was doing my best Sandra Bullock impression there. What am I looking for? Telescope. Up, up, up. Back, back, back. There we go. Telescope's on the other side. Also, this should probably be steered a little so we can land. I have to make sure that we are in a good, stable situation. I think it just like, I just de-warped from the time. I was like, yeah, EVA instantly. Oh, it's because I'm hitting this button for the EVA instead of doing it manually. Take data. Come up. Go forward and down. This is a tricksy looking maneuver here. So we're moving straight down. We are going to... Oh, I do have the engineer this time. Okay. Really? I must. Backwards. Forward. Grab here, but that's not... Whatever. Whatever, that's fine. Next time there's an EVA time, we'll make sure that we're oriented correctly and we're using the right person as well. We're entering the dark side. Ooh, spooky. And we'll have just re-entered the light, I think, when it'll be time for us to go and do our retrograde. We are very close to the ground here. Alright, telescope observations. Grab that. Then, based on our camera... Come on. Oh, I have no power. That's why I can't steer. All right, well, that's okay. I don't know what's using up the power. It's probably the moisture scanner running consistently. All right, TF2, brum, brum, brum. You're going to detach. I'm actually really surprised that I could still run the science, but whatever. RCS. It's grab the telescope, right? Up, up, up. Yeah, the orientation. I messed up my orientation again. Don't lag when I'm trying to click on buttons. I don't want to accidentally scrap a piece of gear that I want. See, like that. Okay, come to the side. This will be easier. There we are. Come over here. Grab. Switch down. Forward. Sometimes when you grab, it also sends you right into space, which is scary. Moisture scanner. Toggle. Oh, that's not the moisture scanner. This is. Toggle array. I have no idea if that's what's using it at all. I mean, life support does get used. The Kerbals do use a bit of life support. It's probably smartass with its rotation holding. Anyway, that's okay. Again, we should get the sun when it's time for us to do things. We'll be doing all these maneuvers in the sun. And if we weren't, I would just not do it there. I would wait until we were in a sunny spot to do things. But there we go. There's the sun. Power climbing very quickly. Thank you very much, Mr. Alarm. And what we're going to do, see, planet rotated under us. We're just going to wait until we're over these flats, and then we're just going to burn. Well, it's basically going to be retrograde, right? But really, so it's going to start off retrograde. We can do it as a convenience using the regular SAS. It's going to start off retrograde because basically we're just going to be burning along the horizon like that. But as we burn off horizontal speed, retrograde will move because we'll be moving more downwards. We don't want to move with the retrograde. We always want to burn around the horizon like this just to kill horizontal speed. And luckily, there's an easy button for that in SmartAS right over here to burn. This is effectively retrograde in the horizontal direction as opposed to anything else. It's so easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So, we're just going to wait until the big flats are there. Look how close we're getting to some of these mountains. Kerbal in the distance, looking lovely. There's home. Hope no one's homesick. We're very close to some of these mountains. But the flats are at sea level for Minmus, which is very handy because then this meter here effectively tells you the distance to the ground as opposed to not. Because those can be very different. We can also, if you're inside your... if you hit C, or whatever, you get your IVA, you get this radar altitude, which is great. That tells you exactly how far you are from the ground as opposed to sea level, which is the other display. You don't get that on the screen normally. So we will have the surface info one, though, which is going to be handy, and notice the horizontal speed. So I'm going to wait a little bit more, because we know we're going to be able to kill this off very quickly and aggressively. I'm going to make sure we're definitely over the flats before I kill all the horizontal speed. So we can time warp a wee bit more. Sure, I'll have to be quick. Turn that off. Normal ASAS on. Do the telescope. EVA report. EVA report, go. Oh, I have to let go. RCS. I can't click on it. Take that out. And it is the wrong dude, but that's okay. Grab. Scrooge down. Board. Okay. I'd say we are very comfortably over the flat. So go back ahead with the negative HVL. That's going to be okay. Electric charge is in great shape. And you're go for burn. So our horizontal speed is here. We're going to basically just try to bring that to 0, and then we're going to drop straight down. Again, this is not the most fuel efficient way, but we've got fuel to burn. Because we're going to drop this. You can see the vertical speed is starting to go negative. We are starting to drop. And there we go. Technically, we've actually swung back the other way. So that's what's going on here. I'll try to be a bit more gentle. Kill off the rest of the horizontal speed. Although the horizontal speed will effectively start to go down just by virtue of ballistic math and things and whatever. Well, not really. I don't know. There we go. Basically, we're not moving at all. So, what I'm going to do temporarily, I guess I could hold on to this. We're going to drop not that quickly. And point straight down. we could use this to help slow us down for a little while. And why not? Why not? Go ahead and change this to surface speed. Yeah, why not? So pointing straight up is in the middle of the blue thing. It's also going to happen to be the same as pointing retrograde. If we've got no horizontal speed, our only motion is vertically, so pointing retrograde points us straight up. It is dangerous to just lock to retrograde, though, because what can happen is if at some point you burn too long, and instead of going down, you find yourself going up ever so slightly, your ship will flip itself upside down because retrograde is in the other direction. And that's not great. But yeah, we can see our true altitude and the altitude above sea level, they're exactly the same. So this meter is accurate for this landing, but it wouldn't be accurate if we were landing on the mountains. You can see at this point, we'd already be landed, effectively. So if you are planning to land on a higher biome, first of all, you got to start this whole maneuver a little higher up. We were, what, like 6 kilometers up when we started this, which should be totally fine for the flats. So while this is kind of unnecessary, I'm going to go ahead and burn to bring my surface speed down to 0. Just effectively to eliminate another 40 meters per second, more or less. And then I'm going to go ahead and jettison this guy. He's got lots of fuel left. And again, this is not an efficient maneuver. I may as well use some of this because I can. Okay. We're going to drop it down. We're going to hit G twice to deploy our landing gear. There we go. The reason you have to hit it more than once is because on a plane, your landing gear would be assumed to be starting off extended. And so hitting G once just retracts it. Here, you have to like hit it once to like sort of retract it a second time almost. And then you hit it the second time, it expands for real. So that little, just the decoupler force was enough to send that flying quite a bit faster than the rest of my ship. What I'm going to do for safety's sake, I've got full power, plus I do have the extra solar panels on the back. I'm going to go ahead and retract these 2 solar panels. Just to make sure, if we do topple a bit, they're less likely to shatter. Plus, I mean, they are delicate. If I landed hard enough, maybe they would get shattered a bit. Probably not. Tell you what, for the sake of making things neat and clean, let's go ahead and close up all the boxes. We don't need to do that, but it'll feel better to me if we do that. So surface speed is increasing. I mean, we're still 3 kilometers up. We got a long way to drift down, and the gravity here is very low. There's, of course, no atmosphere on this planet. It's not a planet, it's a moon. There we go. We'll put a nice little crater exactly where we're planning on landing. More or less, actually. We are basically going to be landing on the wreckage of that that stage, that Minmus injection stage. Or is that TMI? Too much information. Still got a ways to go. I think it's pretty safe for us to time warp here. Okay. We can't time warp. I could force the physics warp, which would be okay. But I know, our speed is increasing. You can see we're dropping a little faster here, which is fine. I should go ahead and stage the next level and make sure that things are working. I just used 1 tick of shift there, and you can see it's slowing us down pretty strongly as is. Okay, we're below 1 kilometer. So I'm going to try to keep us descending very slowly and carefully. There's an optimal way to land to use the least amount of fuel. There we go. You can see we're barely going to use any fuel in this stage to stop our horizontal or our vertical descent. I'm actually going to land on a bit. Did something survive that? And it's going to be the same thing when we take off. It's going to use almost no fuel. We are moving sideways a wee bit. So I'm going to run true surface retrograde here just to help kill a little bit of the horizontal. Oops. I held that a little too long and then I hit the wrong button. So I'm just going to bring our horizontal velocity down to 0. I do not want to be skidding sideways when we land. And I guess what I could do then is just... no. I could, as long as we don't flip upwards. This will mean I'll also be burning to cancel any horizontal velocity, which I guess would be okay. That message is every time I hit X, it de-time warps us, which is why you keep seeing that. So I hit 1 tap of shift, and then when I want to stop it, I just hit X. I really like the thrust right now. With 1 shift, it's going to be perfect for bringing this in nice and slowly. Look at this! There's bits left over here! If we had some KIS components with us, or KAS, we could actually pump the fuel out of that into here if we had used that much. I mean, we are using a little bit of delta V, but not much. Again, we could be doing this a lot, using less fuel, but it's hardly an issue on Minmus. I'm going to land as gently as possible because it'll minimize the chance of bounce. I'm going to force us to point straight up no matter what's going on at this point. Barely not moving sideways, or barely moving sideways at all. If this were another planet, I would be very comfortable landing anywhere under 4 meters per second. But here, I would really like to land, if possible, no more than 1 meter per second, just to minimize bounce, just because this planet is relatively bouncy, because of the light gravity. Any sort of like hard landing will just send you right back up. Look at this. Almost completely killed our speed. Holy crap, that is probably my single best landing ever on Minmus. And again, landing on the flats over here, really good because it is completely flat. Most of Minmus is very slopey and bumpy, and trying to land this on any kind of slope won't work. It'll topple over every time. This craft can only land on the flats. This craft could also land on the moon, mostly on the flat, maybe a slight slope, but barely anything. The inside of a crater is usually pretty good for this because it's usually pretty flat too. All right, congratulations. We have made it to Minmus over here. How exciting. We have a lot of experiments to do. So let's do that before we EVA. Let's run all the experiments. We'll get a good sense of our environment. We'll get atmospheric pressure scan. Oh yeah, I still have the mod that adds extra flavor text to this, but look at this. 60 science from an atmospheric pressure scan here on Minmus's Greater Flats. There are multiple flats to visit, by the way, plus the highlands, plus the... I think there's lowlands, highlands, and maybe even mountains. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep that. I don't know how many biomes are here, but it's quite a bit. We can get a crew report for over here. How's everyone doing? Everyone good? No one got jostled by that incredibly hard landing. We're going to get 40 science from here. We're starting to detect a faint smell of ice cream in the capsule. We don't know where it's coming from. Mystery group, material study, magnetometer. Extend all those. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this. And we're going to keep that. And now it's finally time for an EVA. So, as the pilot, I would say that Michael has got the priority on that. That is traditionally the way it works. Well, it's a little tricksy because the moon landings, they had like a commander and I think a pilot, but the commander was the one who actually did the flying. In any case, the commander was the one who stepped out first. So in this case, Michael 6800 is going to be the one who steps out first. He'll have the honor of doing it, and then TF2 Brum 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 will follow immediately afterwards. Apparently we can surface sample from here, which makes no sense whatsoever, but that happens sometimes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the data out of the bottom one and then store it in the top one right now. Well, it's very easy to do. We don't have a ladder. It's going to be fine. Can I EVA from here, really? I feel a little bit like a superhero when you jump in low gravity. Yeah. So it's considering me to be on the ground right now, which happens a lot. I'm going to do the surface sample properly on the surface. So we'll climb down as much as we can. Oh, I can store the EVA up there. There we are. It'll give me a chance to do another EVA, but it will be a duplicate. Whee! There we are. We're walking around. Look how slow and bumpy things are. And in fact, watch me jump. If you haven't seen this before, it's excellent. Oh, what a great picture here. What is it? F1? I don't remember. Whatever, I'm making video. Jump! Wow, we jump really high. And we see there's Kerbal, there's home. And of course, we've got our RCS as well. We don't have to worry about falling. The falling strength that we'll hit there is the same strength as we jumped off with, so we don't have to worry about any damage, but it is nice to move around like that. That's great. Put away the RCS. Okay, another EVA report, which is the same thing. So I'm actually going to trash that because it's just going to clutter things up. We will, before we dig up the surface sample, I think it's going to be very important for us to go and plant a flag for the glory of all Kerbal kind. I hereby claim Minmus in the name of Quill. I don't know. I never have anything witty to put in here. It'd be something like, first landing! And then I put in parentheses, the biome. So I can see it from the map view, and then I know what's what. Oh, and who is this? This is Michael 6800? Can I get that info? Yeah, Michael 6800. Just wanted to confirm. Boom. Excellent. Now that you've done all the cool flag stuff, we're going to go over here. We're going to take a surface sample. Now, you can normally do that by right-clicking on your person. Toggle EVA suit. No, we're not going to do that. I think it's just cosmetic, but you sneak a taste of the surface sample. Nope, it's definitely not made of delicious dessert products. 150 science for surface samples, which is great. Now, the other nice thing is we really are not that far from the biome. In fact, I probably could have landed us right on the edge of it, and if nothing else, ran over there to do a surface sample. We can also EVA suit over there and do that. And we could do that in between episodes here, just for some bonus science. We do have enough Delft TV over here. We could probably move over there and land pretty easily. But I'm really worried about landing on anything other than perfectly flat ground on this mission. Very paranoid. We'll come back and do that when we've got a more consistent and safe lander. So we're going to go ahead and just go and latch on here. And then sometimes that'll happen. It can be very tricksy. It's easier if you got more ladder, but even if you do, you grab on, sometimes it sends you into space. Okay, I will go ahead and store all the experiments on top of the upper pod. I will board, and we'll be sure to give TF2 Brum Brum Room an opportunity to run around as well, obviously. Like, I'll EVA report, but then when I try to board, it'll tell me to get rid of it, yeah? Yeah. So it confirms that we've got a duplicate of that EVA report. I think it will keep bugging me about it every time I EVA, just because I haven't turned in that report. So, science alert, and in fact, the game, if I were to right-click over here and say EVA report, the game knows that this is still science you can do, and it doesn't recognize that I've got some sitting on the ship. I mean, who knows? Maybe something will happen to the ship. We can plant a flag, too. There's no reason we can't. Engineers rule. Pilots drool. He's a little bitter that he wasn't the first person to walk on the surface. But this will give him some experience points, I believe, which is great. It might help him level up. We might get our level 2 engineer, which hopefully won't be needed for the rest of this. So, how far am I? Well, I'm not that close. It's really tempting, though. And yeah, I can't believe this debris. Well, I should actually believe it. All that took damage is the engine, because that's what it landed on. But other than that, the gravity here is so low, it would not have hit with a substantial amount of force. Doop, 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 doop. So we've got the procedural liquid tank, the stack decoupler, and then the cowling around there. If I go and I salvage this, okay. Disassemble it. I got some parts and things that presumably we can bring home. I don't know where that got stored. Woo! No recycle space. Maybe that's something we'll actually be able to bring home and get a little bit of extra money because we toured some of that up. I don't know. We might be slightly heavier departing. We'll have to check our Delta V to see if that screws it up. We might have filled up with too much moon rock, rocky road. You don't want to hit the ground on Minmus with any kind of horizontal speed because you might tumble forever. It's more of a problem on a slope. Because the gravity's so low, you never really, like, there's no drag, there's no air. You might just bounce forever. So, let's just get back in. I think it's okay. I'm not going to go to the other biome. We'll come back later. That'll be a mission for another day. We're going to do that. Excellent. We didn't redeploy the solar panels, and actually, the solar panels are being drained quite quickly. Toggle that. That change things? I'm not sure. Oh, we still have the smartass running. That helped a little. I don't know. We'll extend the panels out anyway, so we'll get lots of power again. Our back panels aren't facing the sun either, so that's part of it. But I'm still not sure what's draining so much power. Oh, I actually forgot I need to collect some more science here. From the goo and whatnot. Which is going to be a little tricksy as we're flying around. Take data. Take data. Because we're not bringing these modules home. Which means, you know, we're not getting the money back from them. But we want... No! Stupid physics bugs. I lightly tapped the side of the ship, and it decided that clearly the right way to resolve that is to send me flying upwards. That happens a lot. That happens a lot when you're just trying to, like, grab onto the door. Even, like, you're fine, and you hit F to grab, and then all of a sudden it flings you upwards. Right into the solar panel, which is annoying. We do have the extra solar panel. We've got the ones in the back. I'm not too worried. Nope, 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 nope. What? See, what is that? It's the Kraken. The space Kraken asserting itself. Come on, try not to bump into things, because apparently that is really bad for us. Up. Did I not click it? I'm sure I clicked that. There we go. I was worried about the lag there. I'm like, is it going to send me off somewhere again? Okay, I think that's it. Erg, well, that's life in space. These things happen. I'm going to assume I can't repair that, but I don't know. No, see? Look, just randomly, it's like, hold on. Clearly, the right solution to gently bumping into a slight slope is to fling you quasi into orbit. Actually, I bet you could make orbit like that some days. Inspect. Probably going to tell me it's in working order. Yep, good on you. Just because it didn't break from dang it. Which is a little, you know, silly, but there you go. So there's no data in there. Great, we'll board. We store some more data. Excellent. Okay, if we run any more experiments on our way out, we'll of course have to pick it up before we re-enter, but that's fine. So what we're going to do upon departure here is we're just going to pop up, and then we're going to turn east instantly. That, I believe this is east. Should be. Where's the sun? Yeah, over there, the east, and we can see the Milky Way as well, which happens to run along the east-west sort of route. We're going to take off and just head east, and basically we'll be orbital instantaneously, which is going to be pretty easy here. I will make sure smartass is off. I will turn on the SAS. Full throttle for a second here. And just twist. And east. Like that. And go. We could pitch up a little if we were concerned about raising our apoapsis in time to avoid any mountains. Let's go ahead and do that. Just a little bit. There we go. Now we're fine. Now, in fact, we've got way more apoapsis than we need. I mean, again, at some point we want to escape velocity, but it might not be in that direction, for example. And if I just trusted my instinct and continued going east until we saw a mountain, then I went straight up, we'd be fine. We actually aren't that high right now. Our apoapsis is very high. I'm going to turn upwards like this. Yeah, we don't have to worry about going sideways because we have no atmosphere. Just in case it looks like I'm about to hit something, I'm just going to thrust directly upwards. We are on our way up. We will hit 26 kilometers at our apoapsis, which is on the opposite side of the planet. For now, the only question is, will I hit a mountain or not? I think we're okay. We're over 1 kilometer now. I think a lot of the big mountains were actually behind us over there. Hopefully I didn't forget any important science. We seem to be going well. I'm tempted to physics warp. So if I try to just time warp right now, it won't let me. But I can hold Alt and then force the physics warp. Which is always risky because sometimes your ship can shake itself apart. But at this point everything works. You can still steer and everything like that. The game is running normally just 4 times speed. Instead when you go time warp, physics get turned off basically. Which is the reason you can go at like 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, 1,000 times and more faster than normal speed. Okay, we're now 4 kilometers over the surface. We are absolutely gotta be safe. Gotta be safe. And I should be able to time warp for realsies now. I mean, obviously our periapsis still involves smacking into things. We don't have that much delta V. I have to say, I'm a little bit concerned. Would have been nice if our landing had been slightly more efficient. We should be okay as long as I don't screw anything else up. This would be a lot easier if we weren't bringing the other capsule. If we had the exact same design minus a capsule, that's so much less weight and would have doubled our delta V the whole way, basically. All right, so where are we about? So when we want to return home, like this, we would like our escape to be facing opposite of our path. Now, what I was doing in the past was I'd burn around here, but that's not quite right. I want to burn around here because that will cause the route to go this way and sort of escape that way. So the reason I want to do that is because, just like your normal takeoff, Minmus is orbiting around Kerbal anti-clockwise. So we want to leave, so Minmus is going to the right. If we leave going to the left, that means we have slowed ourselves down relative to Kerbal, which means we've burned retrograde, which is what we're going to want to do to go home. So, unfortunately, we do have to burn a little bit more prograde here. You can actually, if you just time your depart properly, your departure properly. If we'd taken off when Minmus had been rotated such that we were here, we could have basically just burned and left in one go and never have to truly circularize. But that's alright. Okay, so we're going to go there. Power's good. Excellent. We're not doing any sort of SAS right now. We're going to go to the apoapsis. Just burn enough to make sure that at the parry we don't smack into the planet. Turn prograde. You go away. As soon as we're prograde, we'll burn very slowly, just to raise our parry enough here, so that we don't die. Goal number 1. There we go. That should be well above any mountains. Excellent. And then, it so happens, actually, that our parry is sort of where we're going to want to burn. Not exactly, but pretty damn close. It's basically on that line. Well, something like that. There we go. See that? We're leaving in the opposite direction. And I can still fiddle-faddle this, right? If I burn more here, we're lowering it. But I'm not sure that it's literally the most efficient. So I'm going to burn as little as I can here to break that orbit. And break it in a line that's sort of tangential to the orbit we want. I think that's probably the sweet spot. And then when we actually escape here, I will turn and explicitly set it to be retrograde. I don't know, actually, if we're going to be able to make it with the delta V that we've got left. I may have needed to be a little bit more efficient than I was. Maybe I should have held on to that other stage longer. I clearly should have put a little bit more fuel in this stage. Or check the wiki for the actual math for the delta Vs. Oh well. Turn this off for now. Save. And time warp to the maneuver. Actually, surprised we haven't triggered any experiments. Oh, no electric charge. Are we going to be in a shade here? What the hell is using so much electric charge? I'm honestly very confused. Well, we can't maneuver right now. We're going to have to get it on some future orbit. Unless the sun happens to hit us in the next 2 minutes. Well, we can start the burn, basically, as soon as we've got sunlight. Although, then it's slightly less efficient again, right? There we go. Turn. Prograde. Are we not actually in the sun? What's, like, can I get a report of what the hell is using up all the power on my ship? That would be nice. We're definitely getting solar power. Blocked by procedural tank? Yeah, but not completely. Well, we're gonna get it on the next orbit. Yeah, this isn't right. Like, clearly we're getting sunlight here. It's saying it's being blocked by this procedural tank. Which is not right. So, first of all, we have something mysteriously draining power, which, I mean, you know, whatever. But my solar is not working. Okay, let's save. Let's go to the Space Center and then come back. That might right it. I probably should have done that sooner. And then what I'll do, aha, I got it. I'm going to turn off the batteries on one of the, or both. But no, let's say one of the command modules. Then, that way, if we want to execute our maneuver in the shade, I can just turn on the battery when it's time to do the maneuver. But that's assuming our solar panel is going. I mean, at some point, the ones in the back will get some light, and then that should hopefully fix things. I should have brought a wrench with KIS. I could have moved some stuff around, maybe. No. Seriously. Okay, hold on. Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a very Kerbal way to do things. We're going to get out and push. EVA. We're going to let go. Turn this on. There we go. Just get out and push. Okay. Now, you can't board from that one. You're going to have to board over here. Grab and board. Now how are we looking? Stop. Okay, this one is working with direct sunlight, and those bits are getting sunlight now. It's the Kerbal way, man. It is the Kerbal way. So, I'm going to wait for all the batteries to charge up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the electric charge from the pilot's pod from being consumed. It doesn't matter which one it is, because it's all shared in the same system. But I'll turn off the battery charge usage in there. And then we'll wait until we're at the sweet spot of the orbit again, and then we will launch. The Kerbal way. Use your head. Literally. Okay. Great stuff. So we're going to just do this. So now this won't get used up anymore, no matter what happens. So we're going to come back out here. We're going to see our orbital route. And again, what we want to do is initiate a maneuver. Come on. Show me the line again. Right around here. Again, just short of the parry. I'll just yank that a bit. But I'm gonna do it manually. Okay. Time warp to there. It's 45 minutes, maximum times 50 speed, which isn't great. Now, worst case scenario, we run out of Delta V, that's fine. A rescue mission's not that hard to do. We could easily work out a way to do that. I'm not concerned. We did up the difficulty by forcing ourselves to bring 2 people. Yeah, so we won't quite do that. And probably I'll even derate my engine. I don't know. It's better if you do the burn all at once at the sweet spot. You want to do as much of your burn exactly there. Ideally, if you had an infinite thrust engine, you would do all your Delta V change instantaneously at exactly the optimal place. So I think derating it would actually just hurt my efficiency a wee bit. But I got to make sure not to overkill it too much, because I think it's not going to help. Might not be the end of the world, though. I mean, I guess the more I do it, I mean, we were seeing some changes. I'm just leery about not being able to, like, see the thing. What I should do, out of curiosity, I'll only have the one canonical save, but I'm going to make a save here. I'm going to call it Minmus escape. And what I can do is I can compare. If I did a full burn from here, or a bigger burn from here, as opposed to the minimal burn that I'm going to do, and then burning once I'm properly in orbit around Kerbal, and I can, you know, sort of plan the maneuvers and the directions better. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes. Okay, face prograde. Power is currently fine. It is dropping, but not very quickly. I still don't understand, like, what was eating the power before. Yeah, it's very stable. Maybe one of the things that was on. I'm going to wait until literally it's time. Although I don't need power to turn the engine on, I don't think. A little bit more. It's a short burn. I mean, it's not like my maneuver node is like literally at the most optimal place regardless, right? I don't literally know exactly where that's supposed to be. Okay, I'm going to turn this on in case I need it. And all I'm going to do is lock prograde. I'm not using the maneuver. The maneuver was just sort of a ballpark. So what I'm going to do here is go for full burn. And just going to wait for the orbit to pop and then to run basically tangential to this. Any second now. And a little bit more. And a bit more. Okay. I would assume that's pretty good and that everything else might not be optimal. I mean, if I do keep burning, again, it will drop it from here, but I'm not sure that it helps the right way. I have no idea. Again, that's why I'll use that save to compare. Actually, this is really the save where it's like, test burns now, right? Either we continue burning with the rest of our 357 Delta V where it is now, or we wait until after we escape, or somewhere in the middle. Still learning. All right, warp to the escape. We'll have to wait until we're higher away from Kerbal or from Minmus before we kill the warp again, and then try that again. It should go faster than times 50 now. Nice. Okay, power is stable. That's great. I mean, we should have plenty of sunlight, assuming our solar panels are actually, you know, responding to things. But again, if need be, we can just bump the ship around with our Kerbal. Something you can't do when you're working with probes. Get out and push. And technically, you have infinite monopropellant for your suit. I mean, you only have 5 units of it when you leave. You could run out with your Kerbal going around doing EVA. But as soon as you get back in the command pod and then you go out again, you will once again have a full load of monopropellant. Which is sort of a bit of an abuse. I think it used to take it out of the thing, and then they changed it because of reasons or whatever. And probably at some point they'll change it. But I mean, there's only so much you can do with the monopropellant. Having infinite monopropellant, and it's not like you can really aim things by bumping into it and those sorts of stuff, but it's really funny, is what it is. All right, cancel that. So we'll cross it at times 50 warp. And then we'll give it a couple of seconds to finish click, 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 click the orbit. Okay, that's pretty good. So now we're definitely burning prograde or retrograde. We're effectively at the apoapsis. We're not literally there, but at the distances we're talking about, it's not much of a difference. I suppose if we really wanted to optimize our burn, we could wait for a whole orbit, but it's going to make such a small difference. It'll be like 5 more delta V. If we're short 5 delta V, then maybe. So let's see what a retrograde burn will do. We've got 28 million meters to drop by. So it goes fast at first, but then it starts to go really slow. 5 million, 4 million, 3 million, 2 million, 1 million, and, oh, there we go, hundreds of kilometers. Oh, we're going to be fine. Well, again, the last of it will be slower. I mean, I'm burning slower here too. We want to get this down to 25 kilometers for our re-entry. Maybe a little bit higher on this one, actually, because we are going to be coming from this far. We're going to be hitting the atmosphere a lot faster. So I'm actually going to target about 30. You know what? 31. I like it. We'll be going horizontal a lot longer, but I think that's going to be better. We're going to spend more time in the thinner atmosphere. We'll have more horizontal space to slow ourselves down. I'm not that worried, but I think that's going to be more optimal for us. But look at this. We have 157 delta V left over. So, okay, here. Let's do this. I'm going to save this again and say, you know, successful return. This is going to be the save I'm going to be playing from. But out of curiosity, since you guys are still watching, can I not Alt F9 to get, there we go, to get the window? Test burns now. Oh, they're all called Quick Save 12. Successful return is the one we're going to want to reload later, between episodes. I'm not going to do the whole re-entry here, because things should work. And it'll just take a while. But okay, so here I had just finished this. Out of curiosity, if we were to keep burning for a while. Yeah, see, it's mostly, at this point, we're not burning retro anymore. It stops, at a certain point, it stops being retro and it starts being more radial and different things like that. So I think I really did do the single, I think I did the most efficient escape from Minmus. Basically, the escape at the end of the path, your escape over here from Minmus, should be in the direction of your retrograde burn compared to Earth, which is exactly what happened by going parallel there. Awesome! I did something right for a change. So, really excited. We're going to be bringing a lot of science home. That was fun. Next thing will probably be to do a moon mission. But we'll see. I might shake it up with more videos like doing airplanes. I could try, well, in the career mode here, we're not ready to do a space plane, but I've been messing around with a sandboxy one, so it might be fun to talk about that in the future. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye-bye.